about what are the basic nutrients needed by our bodies. This video is going to be compatible with your learning, especially if you're a grade 9 or 10 high school biology student. Have you ever wondered why do we have to consume enough nutrients? Why people always emphasize drinking at least 8 cups of water per day? And to your surprise, those vitamin pills might not be good for our bodies. Why? Watch the video and you will know. There are 3 main uses of food. First, it provides us with energy to support daily activities and keeping us warm. Second, it gives us the raw materials for growth and repair of body tissues. Third, it provides us with nutrients which are vital for maintaining health. The food substances can be grouped into 2 groups: primary food substances and protective food substances. Primary food substances are those that provide energy. Protective food substances, as from the name, protects our body and helps our body function properly. Primary food substances include carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins, while protective food substances include minerals, vitamins, dietary fiber, and water. Let's first have a look at nutrients number 1, carbohydrates. They are organic substances made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. It has a general formula of CxH2OY, which tells us that H2O ratio is 2:1. In fact, from the name itself, carbohydrates can be divided into carbon and hydrate, in which hydrate is having a similar meaning of getting water. From the name, you will know that H2O, which is water, is present. There are 3 types of carbohydrates, including monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. Different monosaccharides can be combined together into disaccharides and further combining into polysaccharide through a process called condensation. The opposite of this process is called hydrolysis. Let's take glucose as an example. A glucose molecule contains HO and OH group. When they are combined together, the circled H and circled HO is going to become H2O, which is water. Therefore, through condensation, a maltose molecule will be formed, and H2O will be given out. On the contrary, if we add some water to the maltose molecules, which is a disaccharide, it will undergo a process called hydrolysis, forming the 2 glucose molecules, which is basically monosaccharides, back. This is the basic idea of the formation and breakdown of a disaccharide. Let's compare the different types of carbohydrates. Monosaccharides and disaccharides have a sweet taste, while polysaccharides do not. Monosaccharide and disaccharides are soluble in water, but polysaccharides are not. Monosaccharides and disaccharides are all reducing sugar except sucrose, while polysaccharides are not. Examples of monosaccharides include glucose, fructose, and galactose. If 2 glucose molecules are joined together, it will form maltose. If a glucose molecule and a fructose molecule join together, it's going to be a sucrose molecule, and if a glucose molecule and a galactose molecule join together, it will form a lactose molecule. For polysaccharides, examples include starch, glycogen, and cellulose. What are the functions of carbohydrates? First, carbohydrates are the main energy sources for body activities. They can also be energy reserves and being a source of dietary fiber. 1 gram of carbohydrates can give us 17.1 kilojoules of energy. Disaccharides and polysaccharides have to be broken down into monosaccharides for absorption. What are some tests for carbohydrates? To test for glucose, we can use glucose test paper. To test for reducing sugar, we may use Benedict's test. To test for starch, we may use iodine test. All of these tests will be covered in future videos. In the meantime, you can look them up on the internet so as to make this video not too boring. Let's take a look at lipids. Lipids, similar to carbohydrates, are organic substances made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. However, the H2O ratio is much greater than 2:1. There are different examples of lipids including triglyceride. Triglyceride will be formed by 1 glycerol molecule and 3 fatty acids through the similar process to that in carbohydrate, which is condensation. They can be broken back down into glycerol, 3 fatty acids by hydrolysis. Let's have a look at the function of triglyceride. The fats and oil can act like energy reserves. The lipids stored in the adipose tissue can be used as energy reserves. You might be asking, what is adipose tissues? Well, they are subcutaneous fats under the skin. Speaking of that fat, it can also act as heat insulator to reduce heat loss. This way, we can keep our body warm. Adipose tissues around the internal organs can act as a shock absorber, to protect internal organs. Another example of lipids, phospholipids. It is formed by one glycerol molecule and two fatty acid molecules. In addition, it has a phosphate group. It can act as a main component of cell membrane. One more example is cholesterol. It consists of carbon rings and it is an important component of the plasma membrane. It can be used in the synthesis of lipid hormones. What is plasma membrane? Look at the introduction to cell videos displaying on the top right hand corner now. We can actually test for lipids using grease spots test. Coming up, nutrient number 3, the third primary food substance, it will be proteins. Proteins are organic substances made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen atoms. Some of the proteins include sulfur atoms. Amino acids are building blocks of proteins. R represents the side chain. Amino acids contain an amino group and a carboxyl group. There are two main groups of proteins. First are the essential amino acids. They have to be obtained from a diet. That include adenine, arginine, asparagine, aspartic acid, cysteine, blah blah blah. Second, there are non-essential amino acids, and they can be produced in our bodies. That includes phenylalanine, valine, threonine, etc. Coming up, nutrient number 4, minerals. It is a secondary food substance. It is a type of inorganic food substance, and it is needed in small amounts. Minerals do not contain energy value, but it is quite important in regulating many metabolic reactions and building of body tissues. Calcium consists of calcium, iron, sodium, iodine, potassium, and phosphorus. We'll be covering calcium and iron. Calcium is the component of bones and teeth. Calcium is involved in blood clotting, muscle contraction, and sending messages in the nervous system. If we do not have enough calcium, children might get rickets, and people might get osteoporosis. Sources of calcium include milk, dairy products, tofu, and canned sardines. Iron is another example of nutrient, minerals. It is a component of hemoglobin, and if we do not have iron, we may get anemia. Some sources of iron include beef, beans, and raisins. Coming up, nutrient number 5, vitamins. It is an organic food substance needed in a small amount. It contains no energy value just like minerals, but it is important in regulating many metabolic reactions. There are different types of vitamins, including vitamins A, D, E, K, and B and C. Now you might have noticed that I didn't group these vitamins in alphabetical order. Why is that? In fact, I will group the vitamins into two different groups. First is the lipid-soluble vitamins. It contains vitamin A, D, E, and K. They are absorbed along with lipids in our diet. Therefore, it can be stored in a very large amounts inside our bodies. If we take too many vitamins A, D, E, and K, they will cause harm to the body. For water-soluble vitamins, they include vitamins B and C. Too much of water-soluble vitamins will easily be excreted through the process of urination. What's urination? How? We recommend you watch the video about the vital function of living things in the top right-hand corner. Vitamin A is needed for the formation of pigment in the retina. It also keeps the cornea, breathing system, skin, and lining of elementary canal healthy. If we do not have enough vitamin A, we will get night blindness. The cornea and skin will dry up easily, and the lining of lungs and trachea will also easily be infected because it becomes thinner. Sources of vitamin A include liver, eggs, dairy products, and carrot. Carrot contains carotene, which is a kind of orange plant pigment. It can be converted into vitamin inside our liver. Vitamin D is needed if we need to absorb calcium and phosphate. It helps keep our bones strong. If we do not have enough vitamin D, we might get rickets. Sources of vitamin D include beef, beans, and raisins. Vitamin C is important for the growth and repair of connective tissues. It is also important for healing wounds. It is involved in the absorption of iron and it contributes to the immune system. If we don't have enough vitamin C, we may get scurvy, which gives us weak and bleeding gums, which is a type of connective tissues, slow healing of wounds, etc. Into nutrient number 6, dietary fiber. It is another organic food substance. We won't digest it as our body doesn't have any enzymes that can help digesting it. Dietary fiber helps feces pass out of the body by adding bulk to the food in order to stimulate peristalsis, and it holds a lot of water, so the feces become softer. Nutrient number 7, water. It is very important as it is the reactant in some chemical reactions. It is the medium of transport and chemical reactions. It can be a cooling agent in regulating the temperature. It is also one of the components of lubricating fluids. All nutrients, including the protective food substances, are important for our health. If we do not have enough calcium, we may get rickets, osteoporosis, and anemia. If we do not have vitamins, night blindness, scurvy, and rickets may occur. Dietary fiber should also be consumed, or else there will be an increased risk of getting constipation and colorectal cancer. We will look into the deficiency disease later in future videos, so make sure you subscribe. Water is important too, as you might get dehydrated if you do not consume enough. Do you think 8 cups of water per day? After watching this video, do you know why we shouldn't take vitamin pills unless we ask our doctors? Leave your answers in the comment. We will be happy to reply to them. We would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe to our channel so that you won't miss my future videos on biology, chemistry, and physics. It's free and you can always change your mind.